class. This is the walkthrough tutorial of the ETC Nomad capture tutorial we went through in class today for you guys to do this project. So we're going to start off on the spring. I think most of you have done this already, but just in case, I'm in dance production on the main course homepage and going to go into assignments. And I want to be in programming and visualization. If you're working on your own computer, you'll need to download and install either ETC EOS Nomad for Mac or PC, depending on your computer type. And then everybody will need the DA276 Fall 24 base file. This is the base show file we're going to be working off of for this project. So download that and save it someplace easy to navigate to, like your desktop or an external drive. Once you're all set with that, we can go ahead and open up the capture presentation file. So I'm going to go back to my Finder. I've got it queued up here. This is the folder that I put on external drives or on your computers today in class. So we're going to choose the very top one and open it. And it's going to open up my capture presenter. I can see that I'm in my front view. It's completely black because none of the lights are turned on. And we'll fix that in a minute. From here, I'm going to go back to my Finder and open up ETC Nomad. So in my applications, I'll scroll down until I find the EOS family welcome screen and open that. The very first time you do this, you'll probably be met with this screen. You want to choose element 2. Otherwise, you'll just be met with the shell, which is perfectly fine also. We're going to go into settings the very first time and verify that full screen ETC Nomad is deselected. We want to be able to resize that window. You'll only have to do this once. Once it's deselected, click accept. It'll bring you back into the shell and you're going to select offline with Viz. This splash screen will come up, click OK, and ETC Nomad will load. From here, we need to open up that base show file that we downloaded. So if you are closed like this, you're going to click on this little triangle right here. It may already be open, but if not, you can click that triangle to open up the central information area right here. And then we're just going to navigate down through the file tree to locate our base file. So I'm going to say I want to open. I know that mine is on an external drive. It's in DA276 Fall 24. And here's my base file right here. So I'll double click on that. It asks me if I really want to open it. It has selected all of these things for me. That's perfectly fine, exactly what we want. So I'm going to say OK, and it will open the file. Then I'm just going to click this triangle again to close that CIA and give me just a little bit more screen real estate. The next thing we need to do is to bring up the magic sheet that all of you have been working off of in programming your projects so far. So to do that, we're going to click this plus down here to add a tab. And we're going to look for Magic Sheet tab 3. Once we click that, we'll be given these options. And we want to choose 901 conventionals, this one right here. When you click on it, it will open, and it should look very familiar to you since it's the one we've been using all semester. To make sure that the two programs are communicating properly, we're going to go ahead and just turn on the front light. I should note, I mentioned this in class, but you do have to be online. You have to have an internet connection in order for both software platforms to talk to each other. So make sure you're online for this. And I'm going to say I want the front light at 50%. And if I come back over to capture, you can see that Sharon is lit up with our front light. And we can see her just fine. I'm going to navigate back over to Nomad And we're going to go ahead and record this as the first cue. So we've all done this before. Record 1, enter, and we've recorded our first cue. The next thing you're going to do is click the rep color button up here. It's not going to visually change anything. Everything will be done in the background. But as we talked about in class today, in the capture model, the high shins and mids from both sides on the booms are color changing fixtures, even though they're static color fixtures in reality. This is so that we can program things with different colors if we so choose moving forward. So I'm just going to click on rep color, and then I'll select my high shins from both sides and my mids from both sides and turn them on. And I go back into capture, and we can see that they in fact are in their rep colors. Just to show you what's happening in the background, I'm going to turn those off, and I will turn them back on again without color. There they are in the capture model with no color. And then if I go back to EOS and hit my rep color button, you can see that that color has changed on those. So that's what's happening in the background. You don't need to do that as part of this project. I just wanted to show you that. So once you have the booms in the rep color, and we've turned on our high shins and our mids from both sides, we're going to go ahead and record that as Q2. Next thing I'm going to do is select my backlight, so both my downstage and upstage backlight, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on. And you'll see in capture that it brings them on, but they're all spotted down in no color. We've seen that in the theater when we've worked on things as well. That's their base starting position. So back in EOS, I'm going to say I've got these selected. We're going to change their color. So we're going to click on magenta. And back in capture, you can see, in fact, all of those have been changed to magenta. And then back in EOS, we're going to select the beam palette that is backs and carpet. This is going to flood them out so they cover the entire stage. And if I go back into capture, you can see that that has happened. Back in EOS, I'm going to add in my diagonal backlight systems. That's these 6 down here. So I'm going to select both of those, and I'm going to make them cyan and turn them on to full. And I want them into the diagonal backs beam palette. Once I click on that, I'll come back into capture, and you can see that my diagonal backlights are in fact on, and they're flooded out all the way. Back in EOS, we're going to go ahead and record this, and it is going to be Q3. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and take the front light out. That was really just kind of a placeholder to make sure that the software was talking to each other properly. So I'm going to select our front light and take it out. And if I go back to capture, you can see we've got a much more modeled version of Sharon now. So back in EOS, I am going to record this as Q4. The next thing we're going to do is add the psych into this mix. So our psych is up here. So I'm going to say I want to select the psych. I want it to be blue, and we're going to turn it on to full. And back in capture, you can see that our psych is up now. Back in EOS, I'm going to record that as Q5. The last thing that we need to do in terms of our cue stack is to write a fade to black. So right above record on the left-hand side, there's a button that says Create FTB, Create Fade to Black. And when you click on that, it will record a 3-second fade to black in the next sequential queue number, so it should record Q6 for us. So we'll click that, and we'll see that we're now in Q6 with a time of 3, and if I come over to capture, all of the lights have been turned off and I can't see anything. Back in EOS, I want to test out all of my queues and make sure I've done this properly. So up in this corner, there's an icon that is the pop-up virtual keyboard. If you select that, you'll get a keyboard that mimics the keyboard on the actual console. So we're going to go to Q0, which all of us have done some version of in previous projects. So go to Q0, enter, and then we'll click the icon again to close that keyboard. Now, our spacebar should work as the go button of the console. So if I press the spacebar once and go to capture, we'll see the lights fade up. Back in EOS, I'll take Q2. That's going to be our booms coming in their rep colors. Back in EOS, I'll take Q3. That's our backlight systems coming in. Back in EOS, I'll take Q4. That's our front light fading out. Back in EOS, I'll take Q5. That will be our cyc coming into full. And one last time back in EOS, taking Q6 will be a fade to black. Once you've got that successfully programmed and tested, you're going to save your show file either to your desktop or an external drive so that you can upload it to the Spring. And to do that, you're going to click on this triangle again to open up that CIA. And rather than open, you're going to want to save as. If I was going to save it to my desktop, I would select this. I'm actually going to save it to an external drive, which is down here. And I'm going to put it in the DA276 Fall 24 folder. So I'll double click on that. Do I really want to save? Okay. And it'll ask me for a new show name. And for this project, we're going to call this DA276 Test Project. Oh, let's make those capital. And your name, since everybody's show files are going to look exactly the same if they're done correctly, I need to make sure whose is whose. So I'm going to call it DA276 Test Project Travis. Hit enter. And now it has recorded that file for me, and then I can upload it to the module on the Spring. From there, you can just close these down. So I'm going to close the file, and I'm just going to say exit. Do I really want to quit? Yes. It'll bring up the shell. You have to select the shell, and then you can quit that. It'll bring you back into capture, and you can quit that. And you're ready to upload your project to the Spring. Good luck, and please let me know if you have any questions.